He had the gift of hypnosis, and it is not yet known in which tunnel he is now torturing children, because no bodies have been found.
Hello, my dears. I was less fortunate than you. I saw the horror with my own eyes, and I want to share it with you. By the way, my name is Mary. It happened about 10 years ago in the 10s in the kindergarten with the touching name Little Angels. Parents took their kids there year after year. Unhappy, they didn't know what they were getting into. This kindergarten was on the outskirts of the city, and everyone was happy about it, not afraid. The parents were promised that the children would breathe fresh air and learn about nature, and everything would be all right. But this kindergarten was open round the clock. I worked there as a nanny, so I decided to tell you the truth. No one knew that the neighborhood kindergarten is not the best, and more specifically, the asylum for the extremely dangerous. Not long before the demolition of the kindergarten, found out about it. It was carefully concealed by the director. Now let's talk about him. The man, if I may say so, is a bit strange. No family, no children. He does not really do his job, and spends time with the kids. At first I did not suspect him. On the contrary, I respected him. Only later, after an investigation, did I find out what really happened. The night, deaf and quiet, as if I were alone with myself. I look at the children, and it is as if I want to hide them, to give them love, to pity them. I look at their peaceful, sweet faces, their hair fluffed up. I look at them and remember how bad it was for me to lie alone, quietly crying and homesick, just like that in my years. Then I notice that one of the children has moved. He turned over on his side in his sleep, and quite deliberately moved. I asked quietly, "Who is awake, kids?" There was no answer. I decided that they had calmed down, but there was still some creaking sense of danger in me, keeping me awake. There was a sharp knock on the window. I saw Michael's, that's what he called himself, face through the white veil, and the bushes visibly moved and the branches parted. I thought at first I was imagining things, but a few seconds later I heard a piercing laugh through the ajar window. And this laughter sounded little like the laughter of a sane person, if a person at all. Then something rattled through the window, shattering part of the glass. The kids didn't even notice. I started yelling, trying to wake them up, but they didn't respond to me or anything. I pulled the blanket off one of the kids, and found a stuffed toy in the child's place. I couldn't even cry. A shiver came over me when someone poked me with a finger from behind. It was the boy Coin. He stared at me with his big blue eyes for 3 seconds, and then he barely whispered, "Aunt Lisa, Uncle Michael invited us over to watch cartoons, and he asked me to call you. Let's go." In his eyes, even in the middle of the night, there were glints of childish excitement. I was as if I were cotton candy. He effortlessly dragged me to the first floor by the hem of my skirt. "Now, this way," he said cheerfully, pointing to the secret door in the wall. He didn't hear a word from me then. Coin struggled to open the door, and it creaked open. It took us about 5 minutes to walk down the spiral staircase. "Didn't you know about this room yet, Aunt Lisa? We always play here at night," he said excitedly. I was dumbfounded. I was standing in a grayish earth-colored room, with children sitting in the corner, each playing with his or her own toy. There was a television on the wall, wheezing insidiously. The kids sat with their backs to me, and when the TV was particularly malfunctioning, they turned their heads toward it. "Stop it. Stop this outrage immediately." I will punish you. Go to bed at once. I shouted fiercely. Just then, the child who was sitting right in front of me stood up and turned around. His little figure was illuminated by the television. His face, it broke my consciousness. He had huge whites in his eyes, absolutely no pupils. We have bad, black and white dreams, the child said. The other kids quickly got up behind him and began to stare at me. I ran as fast as I could out of that basement, for consciousness overtook me. Even though no one was following me, it would be wise to leave the place as soon as possible. I ran up the stairs 2 minutes faster than I'd come down. I flew into the room where it had started, and slammed the door shut. A man's voice whispered through the crack, "Come back and see more cartoons." I stood outside the door for the rest of the night, dangling in viscous shards of thought about what had just happened. When dawn came, I ran out of daycare. There was a police squad and 3 honking ambulances waiting for me outside. One of the police officers came up to me and said, "You're the only one who managed to escape. There's a madman hiding in this building right now who killed the entire junior group." I wanted to tell him about the secret passage, but I was speechless and the ambulance took me away. It turned out that it wasn't Michael at all, but Alex, who had killed his whole family in 1983. He was later declared ill and sent to an asylum, from which he escaped. On the night of April 5th to 6th, he killed all the staff and locked the children in a hidden room that he had created for 19 years, luring the children there by suggesting they watch cartoons. He appropriated Michael's passport and recruited a new staff, carefully considering all the intricacies of the second mass murder. There are also rumors that he had the gift of hypnosis, and it is not yet known in which tunnel he is now torturing children, because not a single body has been found.
If you liked the story, please subscribe and like. Till tomorrow.